This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, getting you ready for today's sports day.
3 of the first 4 games have been at home, so at some point in time you're going to have to venture outside the 806, so that'll start this week.
While having a little fun along the way.
Always good if you can blame it on somebody else, right?
Yeah, sure.
Especially some media guy.
Sure. Right, some media guy.
Catch the show live weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3. Coffee, Mountain Dew, and sports. More coffee and dew than sports, but it's there for sure. The Morning Drive on Double T 97.3.
Yates Flooring Center chat line is open, so is the Benchmark hotline. Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Let's see. I'm going to go from the very beginning. At this point, I don't really believe much of what McGuire says, especially in regards to quarterbacks. It's all disinformation, and that's his call. I think there's some truth to that. Just from the standpoint that when you have injuries like you've had, and you've had, I don't know if it's up and down. And how about just haven't been consistent? Your performances haven't been consistent.
With your quarterbacks?
Yeah, especially with Donovan. Mm-hmm. And you're kind of. It's like you're driving the car down the highway and you've got your eyes closed and you're trying to figure out how not to crash with your quarterbacks right now.
Okay.
I have this reoccurring dream.
That really doesn't speak to what the comment was on the chat line, though.
No, I understand that, but I mean, I think it's what I'm saying is it's all kind of a deflection right now because, he doesn't necessarily want the opponent to know who's going to trot out there, which I get. I certainly understand that because maybe you would prepare differently for Morton than you would prepare for Smith, and I'm not sure if you're an opposing coach right now how you would prepare for Tyler Shuck just because there's hardly anything on him under Coach McGuire, and there's not very much on him from last year, and it's a different team from last year coached by different people.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, do you know what my reoccurring dream is?
Sure.
I mean, I have this kind of regularly. It's I'm driving and I'm falling asleep at the wheel, and I know that I am, but I can't wake up. But I never crash.
That's good.
But I'm always like trying to put my foot on the brake to stop the car because I know that.
Now we know it's a dream.
Okay. This sounds like Coach is concerned about all of his quarterbacks' health. Morton will go until he's hurt again, and then Donovan will take over. And I don't know, W for Texas Tech. I don't know if that means a win for Texas Tech or I don't know. I guess
sure
win for Texas Tech. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Used copious in a conversation last week. Afterward, I felt like I'd been conditioned by Chuck. Power of the Morning Drive. That from Paul.
I think that is Power of the Morning Drive.
Yeah, copious.
Yeah, because I don't hear too many other people using the word copious.
Okay. I think Chuck's onto something about McGuire getting us through West Virginia. Is optimistic about Chuck making a run the rest of the season. Okay, I think there's something to be said for that.
Man, if Barron plays really well this week and you beat West Virginia,
it would be hard to take him out, right?
Because he was playing really well last week before he got hurt. So yeah, I would think, man, let's stick with the hot hand. That's if he plays well this week.
Yeah. Now, one thing that Coach Zach Kittley talked about with Baron Morton is that he said gunslinger. He said we know that that's his deal. He gets the ball out quick, throws the long ball. There's some stuff that he's missed mentally. That will come. He thinks that he'll skyrocket mentally. He said he saw that in Sunday's meeting. He said he has that gamer mentality. Coach Kittley said that he likes to kind of see it build up as opposed to being the gamer where the lights come on and then he comes on. In other words, he would like what the gist of that is. He'd like to see that in practice in addition to the game, but that's just kind of how he is. He said the game will slow down for him as he gets more reps.
Yeah, anytime you get more experience.
Yeah.
You hope that's the case. Otherwise, you're just not able to figure things out, make an adjustment.
Yeah.
Chuck, do you get the impression that in their meeting before they talked to us. Mm-hmm. That they're like, okay, we're going to use this word today.
I don't know.
And I think yesterday's word was gunslinger.
Well, that was Coach Kitley that said gunslinger. Did Coach McGuire say gunslinger too? I don't think he did. I don't recall him saying gunslinger.
I thought he did, and that's what led to it coming up with Coach Kitley. But like, it feels like they're on message together for both sessions of the media session, where they split the coaches up. But they're not consistent from week to week, if that makes sense.
Well,
like they're together on Monday, but next Monday they'll both be together on something else.
No,
does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't think they get together and do. I do think this though, because Coach Kitley talked about how he heard what Coach McGuire said. So I think he probably listens to what Coach McGuire says. So he's saying on basically the same page. If he gets off track a little bit, he can have his back.
That's smart.
Yeah, so I think I do think that's smart, right? He understands this. I don't know about this. What do you think about this statement from the 8th Flooring Center chat line? I think Coach McGuire is trying to keep all quarterbacks happy, but eventually going to have to disappoint 2 of them. In my opinion, sooner the better. Do you think he's trying to keep 2 happy?
I think that's what we've seen all along with the disinformation, is trying to keep all 3 of them happy.
Which is hard.
Yeah, absolutely, no question.
It's hard to keep one happy.
No doubt about it.
And
especially in today's college football, where if you're a quarterback and you're not starting, you're looking for a spot somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so, no, I absolutely think he's trying to keep all 3 QBs happy, and I think that's been going on since he got on a campus, and I think that's where some of the really confusing things that he has said in fall camp and early on in the season comes from.
Mm-hmm.
But are they? Because if you're a player on a team, if you're starting or not. If you're first or second string. If you're starting the game, because of the way the practices go. And even if they're splitting up the reps, unless these guys were razor thin between 1, 2, and 3, if somebody else is a better basketball player, or somebody's a better football player or a baseball player than you are. If you're better than somebody else. And while egos do play a part in this, can you fool all 3 of them for a year? I'm not buying that.
I don't know if anybody's trying to fool anybody, but it's.
Do you think that he was trying to make sure all 3 stayed for this season, in the off season?
I don't know what he was trying to do, but I don't buy the 2 of them. If Shuck was heads and shoulders above everybody, from what we heard at the beginning of the season, not during the offseason, but at the beginning of the season, once they named the starting quarterback, that he was above everybody and it was obvious, that those 2 other guys wouldn't have known. I find that hard to believe.
Here's a question for you. Which one is he the most tied to? Which one is his guy? Because he inherited all of them, right? But which one most fits him? Is it Morton? Is it...
Are we talking about McGuire, or are we talking about Kitley? Because isn't it Kitley's decision?
Well, that becomes that becomes a question too. It's like which one of the 3 do they feel like gives them, quote, the best chance to have long-term success? They talk about, hey, which one's going to give us the best chance to win Saturday? Well, is that going to be the one that's the most healthy at this point in time? That's where that kind of leads you to believe. But if you lead to which one gives you the most chance to have long-term success, I think based on what Coach Kitley said yesterday about him, he will skyrocket. That leads me to believe that he thinks that Morton long-term is the guy that gives them the most chance for success, big success.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody else would disagree with that. I think that's been the thought all along. But the thought all along has been that he couldn't take care of the football as well as the other guys. And what you saw against Oklahoma State 2 weekends ago was that he gave you a lot of the same things that Donovan gave you with the upside, but Took care of the football better.
Yeah. 6:40 this morning on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3. All right, so are we in agreement that as of right now, 6:40 and 27 seconds past the hour, kind of based on what we've heard and discussed this morning, Baron Morton's going to trot out there as the starting quarterback?
I'm not I don't know what is going to happen because I don't know what you can take as truth and what is just trying to cloud the issue.
Okay. So we're unsettled.
I am. You can be settled. We don't have to agree. We never do anyway.
I think it's going to be Baron Morton. We sometimes do.
Your morning blend of sports.
K-State is coming off a big win over Oklahoma. Of course, the Red Raiders off their 37-34 overtime win over number 22 Texas.
And humor.
Sure to tell them that. You suggested that. And, of course, that got a big laugh.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is October the 18th, 2022. Here is Jeff McGuire.
Going to start in 1953. Willie Thrower becomes the first black NFL quarterback in modern times.
Willie Thrower?
His name was Thrower.
Thrower.
That's
Nice.
a great name.
1955. While I don't necessarily disagree, this feels a little early to throw this kind of moniker. Track and field names Jesse Owens the all-time track athlete. I don't know that I disagree, but we've had a lot of good ones since 1955.
And what year did they say? Did they say this in 1955?
Said in 1955.
I wonder why it took him until 1955 because he was pretty good in the 40s.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with the title. Just seemed like a little odd. But, they did it. 1967, Major League Baseball, American League votes to allow Kansas City Athletics to move to Oakland, California, and expanded the league to 12 teams. Hang on, let's try this again. They allow the Kansas City Athletics to move to Oakland, California, and expand the league to 12 teams in 1971, with Kansas City and the Seattle teams later accelerated to 69 because of loudmouth politicians in Kansas City.
I believe that. They were pretty loud about that. I was not one of the loudmouth politicians there. Although I was a loudmouth, I was 7, so I wasn't aware of what was going on. But I was still a loudmouth.
I think when we were 7, we were all pretty loud.
I bet you were calm, cool, and collected as a toddler.
Were you told to use your inside voice a lot?
Oh my God, yes.
I'm told to use my inside voice now.
Me too.
I think I was loud because I had a older brother who just beat on me all the time, and
So you had to scream for help.
Yeah, I was always begging for help from my parents.
Little do y'all know, this is my inside voice. 1968, American athletes sweep the medals in the men's 400 meter at the Mexico City Olympics. Lee Evans wins gold in the world with a world record 43.86 ahead of Larry James and Ron Freeman. Also in the 68 Olympics, the Olympic Committee suspends Tommy Smith, John Carlos for giving the Black Power salute to protest racism and injustice against African Americans during the Olympic medal ceremony.
Yep.
1974, Chicago Bulls' Nate Thurmond becomes the very first NBA player to complete a quadruple double. 22 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists, and 12 blocks.
Gosh,
He was a
didn't even
beast.
scrape by. The lowest number was 12. It's impressive.
In probably the hardest category to get a double digit in.
Sure, blocks.
1977, Reggie Jackson hits 3 home runs, tying Babe Ruth's World Series record as the Yankees beat the Dodgers 8-4 to clinch the World Series 4-2. Mr. October was your MVP. And in 1981, New York Giant Joe Danello ties an NFL record for 6 field goals in a single game.
Red zone offense really struggling that day, Chuck.
Yeah, no question. I remember Joe Danello. In the modern day, Joe Danello was last night with the Chargers winning over the Denver Broncos in overtime on a field goal.
It is National Chocolate Cupcake Day.
With a little white icing on top like they did with the...
Doesn't say what type of
Hostess?
icing, it just says the cake.
You
So you
with
can
me
have
on that,
whatever
Jamie?
kind of icing
I
you
would
like.
much prefer the yellow.
The
cupcake.
yellow.
Cupcake.
The yellow cupcake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. With chocolate frosting. Or white frosting.
It takes a lot for me to turn down a cupcake.
Yeah, I'd prefer yellow 9-1.
9-1.
Chocolate.
Okay. I would tell you the chocolate with the little white icing on the top.
Happy birthday to Zac Efron, who's 35. Jean-Claude Van Damme is 62.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Lindsey Vonn, 38. Alex Cora, 46. David Murphy, 41. Mike Ditka, 83. Frank Beamer, 76. Martina Navratilova, 66. And Brian Kenny is 59 today. And a couple of things for you in history today. Because in 1867, the U.S. formally takes possession of Alaska after purchasing the territory from Russia for $7.2 million, or what would amount to being less than 2 cents per acre. And just 31 years later, they took control of Puerto Rico. Only a year after the Spain granted Puerto Rico self-rule, and American troops raised the U.S. flag over the Caribbean nation, formalizing its U.S. authority over the island's 1 million inhabitants. And that is this day in sports history.
All right, so time for our secret word of the day. Double T 97.3 teaming up with the Home Zone to make your house a better home, because we're going to give you $10,000. So you could do a little home improvement, or you could go buy some new home furnishings, all those kinds of things. But you're going to get a check from On Highest for $10,000. It's not cold hard cash, but you can make it cold hard cash by going to your bank. All you have to do is listen at this time, 8:45 and 4:45 for the secret word. Then go to doublet973.com, enter it in. And, of course, the more times that you enter, which means the more times that you listen, the more of a chance that you are going to have to win that $10,000 on November the 18th. So your secret word today at 6:51, right on the nose. It's very, very appropriate at 6:45 because they'll be playing later tonight in Game 1 of the National League Championship Series. Padres. Padres is your secret word here at 6:51. So go to doublet973.com, enter it in, and maybe you could be handed a check for $10,000 here at the new compound in downtown Lubbock. And we'll take your picture and put it out for all to see that we actually did what we said we were going to do, give somebody $10,000. Okay? Mm-hmm. You'll shake the right hand of On Highest. He'll be happy to do it. Okay? Maybe you'll get to meet Jamie Lent, too.
Maybe.
Maybe, just maybe. All right, 6:52 this morning here on the Morning Drive. We have some tickets to give away for Texas Tech and West Virginia. I'm going to make this really, really, really simple. The first person to get to Jeff at 806-771-0973, 806-771-0973, gets 4 tickets. Now, if you only need 2, just take 2. But, take 4. Take the neighbor kids. Take your nieces or nephews or grandkids or whatever. Maybe people at your office that you want to go to a game with, not the ones that you don't want to go to a game with. And you know who they are, but you don't have to point them out. Again, 806-771-0973 wins 4 tickets to see Texas Tech and West Virginia. All right. We've had a couple of questions on this. But I think, yes, it's big. Broccoli Rob says, not sure if you've all touched on this, but class of 23 4-star guard Logan Johnson committed to the Lady Raider basketball program. Yep, she did that yesterday. I think they're really excited about her. I think anytime you can bring somebody in that's got 4-star, quote, talent. Now, can that translate to Division I Big 12 basketball? Obviously, they think so. They're excited about her. And I think you get people like that, and it helps you with other kids, too. Because
I'd like to think so.
Success begets success. And they're in Kansas City today, or en route to Kansas City today for the Big 12 women's media sessions for all the Big 12 schools. And the season will get started here really quick. They have an exhibition game on November the 1st, and then boom, it goes. And the non-conference schedule is substantially easier this year. You should be in all of them, if not win almost all of them. I don't know about both the games in Vegas over Thanksgiving, but I would think that, the measure of success for this year's team would be getting to postseason play, whether it's the NIT or the NCAA. That would be the measure. And I think the balance of the team is going to be more spread out than just relying on one player like you. Not that you just relied on Vivian Gray last year, but obviously the offense went around her. So I think you'll be able to spread that around a little bit more. Can Bree Scott stay healthy? Can Jasmine Shaver stay healthy? What is the impact of Bailey Maupin, the freshman from Groover? There's some nice additions to this roster in addition to some compliments coming back. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that is today, and then the men will travel as well for the Big 12 men's portion of that media event tomorrow. And the Red Raiders are ranked 25th in the preseason AP poll. So
nice.
That's exciting because I think that shows respect for your men's basketball program, and in addition to just recognizing that it's going to be a talented group and a fun group, I think, to watch as the season progresses.
You're listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
A little bit later on tonight, we'll have the Astros and the Diamondbacks. That'll be at 8. And then the Rangers playing at Seattle tonight.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
Was it pretty big?
Yeah, I mean,
impressive.
Yeah.
Was it fascinating?
I thought it was fascinating. It kind of smelled, but I mean.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Fast first hour, so if you missed it, it might be included in the Morning Drive podcast that you can get the best of upon the conclusion of our fine radio program, and take a few minutes of your day if you would like just the good stuff. We've got it for you. Go to doublet973.com for that and download that, along with things like Tech Talk, The Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, and also The End of the Bench. You'll find all of those podcasts on either Double T 97.3 or 107thescore.com. Good morning, Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you from the First United Bank Double T 97.3 studio. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line like this one. I am wishing your loyal listener Juan a very happy birthday, and that comes from his lucky lady. Okay?
All right.
So, happy birthday, Juan. Glad that you're with us, and I hope this is part of the 15 or 20 minutes that you get with us each day. Now, if you spend more time with us, that's awesome.
Happy birthday, Juan.
Juan. Yeah, Juan.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
And that was very kind of you to send that in, lucky lady.
Yes, exactly. And I'm glad that you are honored to use that title as well, that you are his lucky lady, right?
Well, I mean, when you have catches like Mrs. Juan and Mrs. Heinz, I mean, you are truly the lucky lady.
Mrs.
Notice that, that my significant other or Jeff's significant other doesn't refer to themselves as lucky ladies.
Well, I think his former lucky lady would say she's now a lucky lady because she's not with him, and he feels the same way.
Wow, that was harsh.
No, he's been very agreeable to all those things that's better to be not together than together, right?
Sure, but I was the one that divorced her.
Okay.
So keep that in mind.
Okay.
You were the one that what?
I was the one that filed.
Okay.
I was the one that had enough.
Wow.
Tells you what I went through, folks.
She just had not quite enough yet then. Okay. And your lucky lady she doesn't think she's so lucky, or she just doesn't refer to herself as the lucky lady, does she?
Probably both.
Probably.
Jamie's the lucky guy. Jamie knows what side his bread is buttered on. And there's nothing wrong with it.
I do not like my bread buttered, just so you know. Never really have.
Oh, Laura.
I don't like my bread buttered. All right. Texas Tech football. Red Raiders take on West Virginia on Saturday. We'll have full and complete coverage Thanks to our Optimum Game Day Live coverage presented by United Supermarkets Saturday morning at 7. It all starts with the Saturday morning quarterback and continues on, and we'll take you all the way up to the kick. All right, Jamie. Things that stood out to me from Coach McGuire yesterday beyond the quarterback. The fact that you have these guys that are game day decisions on Saturday. He said specifically in this order: Miles Price, J.J. Sparkman, Tyler Shuck, and Cameron Valdez. Boy, it sure would be nice to have Price and Sparkman available for you. I mean, all these guys, obviously. Valdez has not been available at all this year. Started off with a knee, then it became, once he was ready to go, he tweaked a hamstring, and they're still looking to get him into a game this year. Shuck has only been available for part of one game, but Price and Sparkman have been integral parts of your receiving corps.
Yeah, you would love to have those guys back. I think other guys are starting to step up a little bit. We've seen the emergence now of Xavier White a little bit more in the receiving game, but I still think it would be great to have those guys back. There's no question.
Also, he said that Loic Fouonji was back in a normal practice jersey, and that he's able to get both of his arms up above his head.
He's been really quiet of late.
Yeah,
you can tell that injuries have really slowed him down.
So they got him out of the yellow jersey for practice, and man, you hope that he can stay healthy. But I thought that was a significant statement that stood out to me about he now can get both of his arms up above his head, so that he can catch the ball. Mm-hmm. So hopefully
that seems pretty important for a wide receiver.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was thinking, wow, that says a lot. I also got a new word from Coach McGuire yesterday with regard to a defensive player, Dante Stills, who it seems like this guy's been there forever. Mm-hmm.
I think there's been more than one of them.
He has a brother, but his brother's now gone.
Okay.
He said that he can play every possession on the defensive line. He's played a lot of snaps. He called him a war daddy.
War daddy.
He called him a war daddy. He said he loves the game. He's powerful. Have to know where he is. If you let him take over a game, he can energize their team. So you're going to have to figure out a way to contain Dante Stills. He's a war daddy.
I thought Baylor did a terrific job with him for about 3.5 quarters, and then late in that game when West Virginia was really making their push, it felt like he was a big factor late in the contest.
Mm-hmm. Very complimentary of JT Daniels, their quarterback. Says he's got a really good arm, can scramble, moves in the pocket well. They got a couple.
He's used to moving.
Yeah, he has
from USC to Georgia to West Virginia.
Right.
It's kind of his thing.
He said they have to be able to put pressure, and this is obvious stuff here. They always want to put pressure on the quarterback, but feels like that they have to have pressure on the quarterback. With regard to, and we'll get to probably more about Graham Harrell. He's their offensive coordinator, of course, one of the greats here, number 6. But he talked about how he has known him for a long, long time. He said he's a coach's kid. That his dad was one of the best high school coaches in America. And one of his mentors. That's what Coach McGuire said about Sam Harrell. But he said this about Graham Harrell, which I didn't know. He said in the 8th grade that Graham would come to their 7-on-7 camps. And in the 8th grade, when he was at Cedar Hill, he won our 7-on-7 tournament with the varsity. In other words, Graham was an 8th grader, came with their varsity, and won the 7-on-7. He described that as a really big pickup for Neil Brown, Graham Harrell. Okay,
good.
There's a couple things for you on that. Let's see. We're going to get to, because one of the things that I wanted, we'll get to Coach McGuire's specific comment on it, but one of the things that he commented on that his biggest surprise so far this year about his team was that they have not created the turnovers like they've wanted to. And we'll get we'll get his thoughts on that at about 7:15. But that's still a very big emphasis for them. One, ball security on the offensive side and takeaways on the defensive side. But he's surprised that as much emphasis as they put on it, that they haven't been able to get as many as they would have thought that they would have been able to get.
Yeah, that was something that we heard a lot about in the off season, but unfortunately just haven't been able to pull it off for whatever reason. Probably credit the offenses a little bit, but you've done a decent job putting pressure on the quarterback this year, so you'd like to think that would lead to some turnovers, but for whatever reason you just haven't been able to get it done.
Some of that is maybe how you're tackling or not in terms of trying to strip the ball away from the receiver or the running back or punching it out or the point of emphasis along those lines. There have been some interceptions that they've dropped, too, that looked like that they've had real opportunities to get some, but did not.
You're tuned in to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
That's not to say that they don't respect the run game that you have, but you're talking about one quarterback leading the conference in passing so far this year. And remember, he didn't start the first game.
All right.
Still played a lot, though.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
I just don't want to disappoint you. As much as I disappoint you, I don't want to disappoint you in some things that you expect from me.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is presented by Bizarre Solutions. Call them today for a free cybersecurity audit.
All right, fire away, Kimosabi.
All right, guys. At 3-3 on the season, the Red Raiders need 3 more wins to get to bowl eligibility.
Mm-hmm.
If the Red Raiders are going to get there, tell me who you think the 3 most likely wins are against.
Okay. I think those 3 are West Virginia, Baylor, and Kansas. And I'll throw in a caveat of if you get those 3, I think you win at Iowa State on November the 19th. Jeff?
West Virginia, Iowa State, not TCU. I don't want to say Oklahoma in this conversation. I don't want to be that late in the season still looking for your 6th win.
Yeah.
And at some point, they're going to figure it out. I don't know what it's going to take for them to figure it out.
Their offense figured it out last week.
But their defense, with a defensive head coach, has just been like Dickens was talking about this yesterday. Worse than the 2011 Tech football defense.
Yeah, it's been bad.
Like worse than one of the worst defenses of all time in Big 12 play. But picking Oklahoma, that doesn't feel right.
You're going to pick Oklahoma as a likely win over Kansas? Really?
No, we'll go Kansas, but I don't feel good about it. The way the 2 teams are playing, I'd rather face Oklahoma than Kansas right now. And that's insane to say.
That is insane to say. How about you?
I'll take West Virginia at home. I'll take Kansas at home. I'll take Iowa State on the road.
Okay. And
one of those teams is playing with confidence with regards to Oklahoma and KU. One of them is not. Oklahoma is not playing with confidence right now.
I'll just be interested how much confidence KU's playing with on November the 12th.
Sure, and I'm also thinking if we're playing them today. The number of things that can change between now and the end of the season for all of these teams is huge.
Sure. You got injuries and momentum and all that kind of stuff.
Kansas should have their starting quarterback back by then.
Yeah, you would think. At least that's kind of what it.
Thought I heard that he was going to be back the week before that.
Okay. I guess I'm pretty confident on I'm basing the Baylor game on it's sold out, it's at night, and you'll be coming off of a West Virginia win, and I think you'll have Mo on your side. Now, the guy that's going to be honored at halftime, Patrick Mahomes, with his name going into the Ring of Honor, unfortunately, he's used his eligibility.
I just, I still think Baylor's a good football team. I think they're much better than Kansas and Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't I wouldn't put. I think it's winnable. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that you're going to win because it's at night. Okay. I don't think that factors in at all.
Okay. You're probably that's speaking logical. I mean, I just feel like that you're going to have a lot of energy in the room, a lot of emotion, a lot of.
So our fans can't have energy at 11 or at 3.
No, they can.
So we'll have 2. No energy at 2 o'clock. No, we're
gonna have good energy. Just think you get a little extra juju going at night.
Yeah, and then by the time halftime rolls around, it's late. I mean, it's late. We got to get out of here. It's a night game, man. We got to get back to the house. It's late.
Man, we got to get to church tomorrow morning. Yeah. I mean, all those kind of. If you're looking for an excuse, no matter what time kickoff is, you can find it.
You can find
it. It's a 6:30. It's a 6:30 kick. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying.
I just don't think the time of day is nearly the factor that other people do.
Which would be me.
Well, you're another person. Yeah,
I'm one of them. Mm-hmm. I'm one of them. Yeah.
And I get that the fans are more excited one way or the other. Mm-hmm. I just don't think it changes the game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 7:35 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Take your thoughts, comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to T973.com for that, or the mobile app. The mobile app presented by Happy State Bank. Bobby Hot Dog says they will run the table. Big book it. Woo! Bobby, 2, 4, 6 games. They're going to go 9-3. Man.
Bobby, 7:36, man.
Yeah.
Put the hard stuff down.
Right. Awful early to be drinking.
I mean, I'm not going to, hop on Bobby's back and have him give me a piggyback ride here with 6-0, but tell me which of those games you can't win.
It's not that you can't win them.
I mean, you can.
You can win every single game.
You could.
But they're also, all losable games, in my opinion. So, I don't think he's a crazy lunatic for saying Tech's going to go 6-0. I think you can win every one of those games. That's what makes this season has been so much fun in the Big 12 Conference, and that it just feels like back and forth, and you just every Saturday you don't know what you're going to get, and that to me that's really cool. But I don't know. I've already told you guys I think the Red Raiders could go 4-2. So
Red Raider 2 Gun says Bobby passed the goblet.
Yeah, I wouldn't predict 6-0, but I also think they're all 6 games you could win.
Jesus hurts. ... Chuck, I agree with you. I'm not sure on which part, but
I'm sure it's the night thing.
No,
there's lots of people that think because they enjoy it more at night that it affects the outcome of the game.
Usually, it's the guys in between the lines that affect it, but
yeah,
it is what it is. 7:37 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Take your thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. From the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I know McGuire wants to play the best guy, but the value of playing Morton is greater in the long run, given he is the most likely the future quarterback of the program. This is something you've said for quite some time.
Well, I do think that he is most likely the future quarterback of the program, but I also believe that it's important to win now, and that helps recruiting. And I feel like you owe it to the guys on the team to put your best foot forward and not be, I get it. If you're 1-9 going into the last couple of weeks of the season, you have no chance of making a bowl, and you're like, all right, guys, we're gonna worry about next year and start getting our quarterback ready for next year. That's different. But if you got a team that is teetering on making a bowl game or not making a bowl game, you owe it to your team to put the guy out there that gives you the best chance to win right now. And so while there is value, I get it, in Baron Morton, if he is the future quarterback, to get him more reps. If they think Tyler Shuck is way better than the other two, then put him in there. In my opinion, win games. You owe it to your team. And I don't think that any coach thinks differently about that.
It's with all the comments, it just seems like every comment that he makes with regard to Shuck and coming back and being ready to play against Baylor, whether it's last week 100% guarantee, or it was 2 weeks ago, he'll be ready by Baylor. Yesterday saying, if he's not ready this week, if he's not either cleared or ready to go on Saturday, he will be by Baylor. It still leads you go back to the comment that was made by Coach Kitley in preseason when they announced Shuck as the starting quarterback that, quote, heads and shoulders above the other two.
And if that's the case, then that's
Shuck
the guy I
will
want
start.
in. That's the guy I want in there.
The Shuck will start once he's healthy enough to start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I think it all, unless
Barron or Donovan is playing great at the time,
lights out,
and you're like, don't mess with the hot hand.
Yeah, if you're lights out this weekend, and part of lights out would be taking care of the football, not throwing interceptions, putting your team
That's a big part of it.
Putting your team in a bad spot,
And at
or
this
missing
point,
throws.
you have to feel like that's one of the things that Barron did better in his one start than Donovan had been doing in his.
Yeah. 7:40 this morning on the morning drive. Boom, boom, boom is next on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3. Continued thoughts in the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, or the mobile app presented by Happy State Bank. Benchmark hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. You'll hear the National League Championship Series game number 1 tonight. Phillies and the San Diego Padres. An unlikely pair. Tonight at 6, High School Fan Zone tonight at 7 on 100.7 The Score. Coaches from Monterey and Lubbock High.
Getting your sports day started the right way. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, breaking down the biggest games.
If Texas Tech does not win the Big 12 football conference, who are you rooting for to win the conference if Tech does not win it this year?
Well, busting some chops along the way.
I hold back on sending you stuff. I mean, I'm very, very, very judicious.
We spend 3 hours a day, 5 days a week
I know.
together. Why would we need to communicate during the weekends?
Right,
Save it for the show.
We do. We save it for the show.
Tune into the Morning Drive live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
You can pick up your day and make it a good day at any time with the Double T 97.3 podcasts, Jamie, that are available, including excerpts from this fine radio program. Each day, go to doublet973.com. You'll find the Morning Drive. You'll find Tech Talk. You'll also find Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby, the Saturday Morning Quarterback, and the Ask Level podcast with Choice Woodman. On 107thescore.com, you'll find the end of the bench and the bottom line. So be looking for that as part of your daily routine. So maybe you get up and work out at 5 a.m. before we can get on the air and fill your brain with all kinds of tidbits and conversation starters. Or maybe you end your day mowing the yard or escaping from the family by going to your favorite tavern. And you can listen to us while you go to that, and then share that information with your barmates, if you so desire. Mm-hmm. Okay, all those things. Thanks for being with us with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you from the First United Bank Double T 97.3 studio. Tonight on 100.7 The Score, it'll be the High School Fan Zone. Coaches from Monterey and Lubbock High. Monterey Plainsmen losing a tough one last Friday to Caprock, 14-13 in Amarillo. They'll play Cooper this week. That'll be at Lowry Field, 7 o'clock kick. We will have that for you on 100.7 The Score at 6:30 on Friday night. Kickoff at 7. Also tonight, we'll have the head coach of the Lubbock High Westerners. And they'll talk about kind of their season and where it's going and how challenging it has been. They lost last week to Plainview, 62-19. They'll play at Wiley. It does not get any easier for them, and that'll be a 7 o'clock kick on Friday evening. So be looking for that. We'll have Friendship football for you on the air Friday night on Double T 97.3. They take on Odessa Permian. Okay? Mojo coming to town, Jamie.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Just wanted you to be aware.
Okay.
I'm
aware.
Hawaii 5-0, original theme song, all that kind of stuff. You know, the mojo. But the Friendships are on they've got a little mojo going themselves, Jamie. They've won 6 in a row. So they're looking to
keep it going.
Keep it going, right. Just 3 weeks left in the regular year for the football season. 3.
Wow, goes fast, doesn't it?
This week plus 2 other. It does go fast. Mm-hmm. It does go fast.
Chuck,
Yeah.
Means we can get to high school basketball soon.
Right.
Is their theme song the Hawaii 5? Is their fight song the Hawaii 5-0 song?
Well, that's their little theme song that they have. Yeah.
That's their fight. Huh.
It's not their fight song. That's what they go. That's what they da 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 da, da like the old version.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Lord version.
Huh. I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah, the more you know.
Do 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 do. Copyright infringement intended.
We will have a secret word of the day this morning at 8:45. We've had one already. We'll have another one. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I went to a birthday dinner a couple of weeks ago and met Clint Scott. Nice guy. Yeah, he is a nice guy.
He's a great dude.
How much did he pay you to say that? That's what I want to know right now. Money had to have exchanged hands.
We get this from our friend Mike. I didn't get to see you guys because of the rain here in Hobbs. I didn't know what to do with myself for 3 hours yesterday. Oh, goodness gracious.
Man.
We're available on the Double T 97.3 mobile app if you have to go mobile. Just go to your friendly app store and download that.
Clint is the good combination of you and I. Like,
Is he?
He's, I mean, I don't think he's as quite as outgoing of wanting to meet everybody like you, but like, so he's a little bit more reserved like me, but once he knows you, then he's a funny guy and he's not afraid to laugh at himself and all that good stuff.
Okay.
So he's kind of in between you. He's a good combination of us.
Good combination of Maybe we should just have him be in here by himself every morning from 6 to 9.
Okay.
He could do a little you and do a little me. We get this from the Yates Flooring Center stat line.
Stat line?
Yates Flooring Center.
You can tell it's basketball season coming for Chuck.
Yeah. Many states require a tag to kill mountain lions, so he would have to prove imminent threat if killed or be charged. And most fish/game officials are quite unreasonable, and you run through the ringer even when it's obviously a safety kill. Yeah, you know what?
I'm taking that chance. If it cost me $500, cost me $500.
I'm right there with you.
Whatever, I'll pay the fine.
Hey, Mr.
I think that thing is stalking me. I mean, that dude was yelling at it over and over again, and it kept coming at him.
Yeah.
If you tell me that's not enough, man, I'm sorry about you. Here's my $500. I'm alive.
Hey, let me go down to the local tag store and get a tag so I can come back and kill you, Mr. Mountain Lion. Yeah, no.
You can judge me by 12 before you got to carry me by 6.
Yeah.
Oh, well, look at that. I like that.
He's been waiting a long time to use that.
Yes.
You have no idea.
Yeah, whatever. I'll just pay the fine. Whatever. I don't even need a trial. That's fine. I'm alive.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I'm good. We'll have a National League Championship Series on tonight. The Phillies and the San Diego Padres. That's at 6. Play-by-play at 6:30. That I have not looked. Does that start in Philly or San Diego?
San Diego, I believe.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So basically it's an early start there in San Diego. So you'll have it'll be night here but day there. Does that make sense to you? Because it's 2 hours earlier?
Yeah, I think I got you.
2 hours difference, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're 2 hours behind us.
2 hours behind us. Thank you. That's the proper way to say that. Monday Night Football, I watched very, very little of this. And in fact, it was funny because, the lucky lady, she watched, her eyes were in front of a lot of football, or her ears had a lot of football this weekend. And so I told her, I said, look, I really don't need to watch the Monday night game last night. I said, it's not just something that's just I'm pining for. So we're watching another show, and the opening scene is football, and it was a football game going on that was prior to a crime that was committed. She's like, so here we are watching another show. What do they show me? Football. It's kind of funny. Guess you had to be there. 19-16, the final on Monday Night Football last night. The LA Chargers getting their 4th win against 2 setbacks. Denver drops to 2-4. They're in a little trouble there in Denver.
Yeah, it doesn't look like things are going real well for Russell Wilson or for the team as a whole, really.
No. Dustin Hopkins had 4 field goals in the game last night. 4, Jamie. 4 field goals. and he won it in overtime for the Superchargers there at SoFi. I got to tell you, and I watched just a brief part of this game. I mean, like just a part of the first quarter. Man, it seemed like the crowd was pro Denver, and it just made me wonder. I wonder if the Chargers still regret leaving San Diego, or if the money and the opportunity to play at SoFi and being in Los Angeles is just overcome all that was in San Diego. Because I feel like they've lost their identity. The Rams, even without winning the Super Bowl, were going to be the kingpin in L.A. And then listening to the crowd roar for Denver last night, it's like, oh, man.
You haven't had the Rams had the same problem, though.
They have had a similar problem, yeah.
I mean, Stafford's wife's been begging the fans to
root for him
and buy tickets and don't let the opponents and all that.
Yeah.
That's just a product of being in LA, I guess.
Yes, and just the melting pot that is Los Angeles.
You've been listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. For more from Lubbock Sports Station, go to doublet973.com.